Hello, we are Narragansett Team 1, and we are presenting our water resource management plan that will drastically improve both water quality and water supply while maintaining our environment. We plan on doing this by relying more heavily on rivers, green infrastructure, and government oversight. In order to successfully work together with companies and residents, it's very important that we are communicative and present a clear approach for our improvement goals that will provide a benefit for hopefully everyone. In recent years, there has been water scarcity and pollution issues in regards to the drinking water in Rhode Island. That's something that we've all had to face, and we hope that we can help prevent this in the future from occurring. The Pawcatuck watershed is a huge recreational site where people from all different communities can go bird watching, canoeing, hunting, fishing, hiking, swimming, and even horseback riding. So it is absolutely imperative that the water is within the whole watershed is adequately cleaned and so that these activities can continue. Our proposed cleaning plan basically goes like this. Historically, there has been clean sewage, which has been dumped into the river, but it really isn't that clean. Like, you would not drink from that water, I would not drink from that water. And so we really need to stop the dumping of this sewage water to protect the quality of our water and the health of our environment. We proposed the implementation of a filtration system that will clean the river water at a faster pace than the reservoir, and it'll store water in water towers that we can use through government funding. So basically, watershed water that is not as clean as it could be for drinking water will go through these filtration systems and will come out the other end very clean. And that water can be stored in water towers, which we can pull from, so we're not just pulling from the reservoir. There are places in the United States like DC who have incentives that help their citizens pay for green infrastructure. And if Rhode Island would mimic these programs, it could, and even potentially seek help from the federal government, that could very much benefit us as well.
Rhode Island has many companies that are dependent on a clean and constant water supply. For example, Rhode Island is one of the leading producers of turf in the United States, but it unfortunately requires a lot of water to maintain. Turf farms often get this water from wells on their own property, and these wells deplete a lot of groundwater. This communal groundwater is used to fill reservoirs as well as to fill residential pumps and wells in the community. One solution to solve this water problem is to implement a government-provided tax write-off, which could give these businesses in exchange for retention ponds. Retention ponds allow for the groundwater to slowly refill over time and to provide extra water for residents, the turf farms, and the reservoir. Unfortunately, not only do the turf farms require lots of water, but they also use fertilizers, which can contaminate the water supply when there's runoff. When it rains, a lot of the fertilizer can be dragged by the rain, and slowly over time it can be incorporated into larger bodies of water. In order to stop this, we need to place rain gardens around turf farms and other farms to catch the runoff and let it evaporate. According to the Groundwater Foundation, rain gardens have proven to eliminate 90% of nutrients and chemicals in the rainwater and 30% more rain, and allow for 30% more rainwater to actually soak into the ground. Commercial farming businesses also use a significant amount of water to grow their plants. One example would be the Forest Hills Nursery in Cranston, and one solution we would have for them is to use a drip system to regulate water when irrigating the plants. Here I have an example of Narragansett High School. Narragansett High School uses the drip system, which has very little water waste and allows for the plants to flourish.
Water access and management
Rhode
is
Island
vital
has
to a number
many
of
companies
economic
that are dependent
sectors.
on a clean and constant
Breweries
water
need
supply.
water to create alcohol and grow
For example,
crops for
Rhode
fermentation.
Island is one of the
They
leading
use various irrigation systems
producers
from
of
water
turf
that
in
is
the
clean
United
enough to
States.
use but
but
not
it
too clean that it
unfortunately
can be
requires
used
a
for
lot of
drinking.
water to maintain.
Restaurants, retail stores, ski resorts,
Turf
trailer
farms often
parks,
get this water
residential
from
areas,
wells
and
on their
college
own
campuses
property,
like you or I
and
all
these
need water
wells
access
deplete a lot
for
of
public
groundwater.
restrooms and tap water
This
in water
communal
fountains.
groundwater is
Gas
used
stations
to
use
fill
water sitting
reservoirs
inside
as
their
well
gas
as to
tanks.
fill
Dry
residential
cleaners need water
pumps
for washing
and wells in
machines
the
and would not
community.
be able to serve without it.
One solution to
Gravel
solve
operation
this water
companies
problem
place sand and
is
gravel
to
in large
implement a
tents to prevent runoff
government-provided tax
that
write-off,
can damage
which
water
could give
bodies
these
when it rains.
businesses
Cement
um,
companies rely on water to make cement.
in exchange for
While it may be very
retention
important to the
ponds.
economy, water
Retention ponds
availability
allow
in the
for the
natural
groundwater to slowly
environment is
refill
vital
over
to
time
wildlife and maintaining a
and
thriving
to
ecosystem.
provide extra water for
If
residents,
any of
the
these
turf
sectors were to
farms,
deplete a
and the
water
reservoir.
resource, like the Pawcatuck watershed,
Unfortunately,
there would
not
be
only
severe
do the turf
economic
farms
and
require
environmental
lots of
impacts.
water, but they
Therefore,
also
by
use
improving the water
fertilizers,
quality
which
of the
can
watershed,
contaminate
there will
the
be a
water
greater amount of
supply
water available and
when
would be
there's
proactive
runoff.
in solving any possible problems to the economy.
When it
Water resource
rains,
management
a lot
drives
of
the
the
economy,
fertilizer
and people must
can
understand the importance of
be
sustainability
dragged
in water
by the
access.
rain, and slowly over time it
Industry
can
on
be
Island is a
incorporated
huge
into
consumer and discharger of
larger
fresh
bodies
water.
of water.
Places like office parks,
In
nursing
order to
homes, the Rhode
stop
Island
this,
Fire
we
Academy, and
need
the
to
Exeter Job
place
Training Corps
rain gardens around
Center
turf
are all huge
farms
consumers
and
of
other
fresh water. They use
farms
it for cooking,
to
cleaning,
catch the
drinking,
runoff
etc.
and let it
On-site job
evaporate.
training. Now, in the town
According
of
to the
Westerly,
Groundwater Foundation,
their
rain
sewage
gardens have
treatment plant
proven to
discharges in the
eliminate
Pawcatuck River,
90% of
so this is
nutrients and
treated wastewater.
chemicals
However,
in the
after heavy
rainwater
rainstorms
and
or if there's too much
30%
runoff,
more rain, and
wastewater can
allow
run
for
out into the
30% more
Pawcatuck River,
rainwater to actually
and
soak
according
into the
to
ground.
a 2019 article by Westerly's Sun,
Commercial
fecal
farming
coliform and
businesses
human
also
gut
use
bacteria
a
was found
significant
in the
amount
waters
of water
in high amounts,
to
so
grow
high
their plants.
that swimming was prohibited because
One example would be
they
the
can
Forest
carry
Hills Nursery
dangerous
in
pathogens
Cranston,
to humans.
and one
Now,
solution we would have for them
there are
is
two ways
to use a
that
drip
our
system
plan
to
could use
regulate
to
water
help prevent
when
this.
irrigating the
First would be
plants.
land application,
Here I
which
have
is
an
where
example
treated
of
wastewater,
Narragansett High
instead of being
School.
discharged into a
Narragansett High
flowing
School
river,
uses the
is
drip system,
sprayed over
which
crops
has
to
very
irrigate them
little
and
water
provide them
waste
with nutrients.
and
Secondly,
allows for the
rapid
plants to flourish.
infiltration beds are very similar to septic systems, where treated wastewater is percolated through sand beds, and then which thus removes the toxins, and the water is recharged back into the groundwater, which is then used as clean drinking water towards towns and urban areas. Next, so up here is the Rhode Island Fire Academy, which is right on the Queen Usquepaug River. So the Fire Academy most likely draws their water from the river to use in the fire training, which is quite a lot. Down here is Warden's Ponds, which is connected to the Chepuxet River and Pawcatuck River. Warden Pond is this mouth for the Pawcatuck and the ending of the Chepuxet. All of this is the Rhode Island watershed, and down here is the sewage wastewater treatment plant and Westerly's water control, and turf farms are all around here which use water.
Managing our water resources in Rhode Island is deeply impactful for agricultural, economic, and industrial reasons. We rely on water to stay in business and function as a society, not to mention the importance of a strong water supply for the environment and all the species that are reliant on it. If there is a problem we need to prioritize, such as fire stations needing water and citizens needing drinking water, all this must be taken into consideration when determining how much water each sector of society can use. The Rhode Island government needs to be responsible for dividing up the water supply based on these priorities, while also maintaining ecological balance and keeping it fair for all. It is important to educate the public on why this is important. If businesses and residents can understand how this benefits everyone, and they are willing to work together to find even financial ways to benefit this, then it can be implemented with ease. But education must be done. Once our water resource management plan is used, the watershed will ideally improve in cleanliness so that there is much more water that can be used for things such as drinking water and irrigation. Species are limited to where they can travel in the river, but with all these improvements and cooperation, they will be able to thrive and diversify throughout the entire watershed.